All right. The one thing I kind of want to talk about today is why do we always choose the harder path? And I know that there is some, degree where we think that the harder path is the highest earning path. But then there's a certain point where you're on that path where you start questioning it, is this even really worth it? Because the thing is that you don't really know what's at the end, right? And you're probably second guessing if whatever the path you are on is even worth it. There's so many times where I start thinking, you know, it's gonna sound very basic, but you start thinking like, what is the reason why you're here? Those questions always, like, they're very cliche. Okay, like, I'll admit it. Those phrasing are cliche. What is your purpose? What is the meaning of life? Stuff like that. Those are very cliche and overused. But the thing is that you just find yourself asking yourself that question. What am I doing here? Am I living? Is this what I want? Stuff like that. And you question yourself, you start asking yourself these questions only because you pick such a difficult path. Like, you probably took a risk maybe a long time ago, and then you are just dealing with the repercussions of choosing that path, and you're starting to contemplate because you're thinking that, oh yeah, this path is pretty difficult. I'm having a hard time during this journey of wherever I'm trying to go to. And you start second guessing, like, is this even worth it to me? This path is so hard. I'm going through so much effort, and is you don't even know if this is even what you really wanted. You just picked it arbitrarily, or you just don't even remember why you just chose this path because you've been on this journey for so long. So why do we always, even subconsciously, why do we always choose? Why do we always make our lives so much harder than it really needs to be? Because the lifestyle I want, right? The lifestyle I want is that I want a basic, quiet life. But that doesn't mean I want to live, I want to live with some purpose. Everybody does. Living day-to-day life, doing something because, it's unrealistic to literally just do nothing. You know, Even if you had the option to do nothing, let's say I put you in space, right? You're able to survive in outer space. Like, I promise you, like, nobody, even an introvert myself, like, I'm a very introverted guy, and I like my alone time. I mean, I like hanging out with friends, but that's what I'm saying is that no matter how much you like being alone, is that as a human being, you're always going to crave some type of, you know, presence of another person. But, life is just difficult. And you don't, like, I've always wanted a quiet life, right? But the thing is that I don't know why I'm always choosing such difficult paths. I don't even want these paths. Like, I find myself doing things and not doing things, even though I should have done, the things I should have done, I haven't. And the things I didn't do, I should have done. Like, I just make it harder for some reason. Like, I just choose the opposite of what I should be doing. And I don't understand why. And not knowing that reason is very frustrating. So why do we always pick the harder path? Why do we always make our lives harder than it really needs to be? Why do we always deal with people who are not worth our time? Why do we always crave the time of other people even though they don't value us as much as we do? Like we always do the opposite of what we should be doing sometimes. Well, okay, not always, but we tend to do things that we shouldn't do. Maybe it's going to college, maybe it's not going to college, maybe it's not quitting a job or not taking up a job. Like what? Like the thing is that we always make our lives harder. But we do it unconsciously for some reason. Or maybe you are aware of it, then that's another issue. But for some reason, we find ourselves in such predicaments where we just think, man, our lives could be so much easier if I did this. We always choose such a difficult path, and I don't understand why. But that's it. That's the thought of the day, the therapy session. But I don't know. Hopefully, like, I'm not too caught up in it. I'm not too frustrated at the moment. I mean, I am frustrated, but it's not overwhelming. It's not overwhelming me. But your body, sometimes it's just hard to understand yourself in certain situations. Because I mean, the self, me, the self or you, it's like you have to put yourself in a third person perspective and try to understand, reevaluate, try to study yourself. But the thing is, it's hard to do that because obviously you're not in the third person watching yourself. You are you. So when you're caught up in certain situations, it's really hard to not get caught up in life. So that's why you tend to forget the actions or the things that you have done, because you're so caught up. Life is so hard and for everyone that you tend to forget on how you got here. And because you forgot how did I get here? Because you forgot, that's the reason why you can't really it's very difficult to put yourself in a third person perspective, because you don't even know how you get here sometimes. Life just happens. Life just happens, and you just keep going with the flow of it because you're trying to, do damage control. Because everyone's life is going to be messed up at some point. That's just how it is. Life is going to suck, and if your life doesn't suck, you didn't live a real life. That you're not in the real world. But all I can really say is that we always tend to find ourselves in such difficult positions. We tend to find ourselves in the same predicament over and over again without even knowing. But that's my thoughts. Maybe someone has the same maybe somebody can relate to this video or the videos that I have been talking about, but for some reason life is just confusing. But we can't really do anything else besides moving forward. We have no choice. But anyways, that's it for today's video. That's it for today's talk. And I'll see you in the next video.